After the overwhelming support of my last video and the many new subscribers I got from it, thank you all by the way, I thought I should probably make another video. And since the last successful video I did was Smash Brothers speculation, might as well do it again, right? So today I have more speculation for you, but one much more specific. As you can tell from the title of the video, we're going to speculate on who are the most likely candidates for DLC number 5 of the Fighters Pass. And we're going to go over past patterns, marketing, and a bunch of other things of that ilk to determine them. If you watched my last video, a lot of the names I'm going to mention here are going to be repeats, because like I said in that video, a lot of the third-party candidates also have just as good a chance at being number 5, and that still holds true. So who do I think are the most likely candidates? Let's just get that out of the way right now. It's Doomslayer, Jill Valentine / a Resident Evil character in general, Sora, Dante, and Sub-Zero / Scorpion. Why? Because of the Game Awards. Let me explain. I'm basically calling this the Game Awards theory if you want to give it a cute name like the Grinch Leak or like that belt theory that's been floating around Japan not too long ago. Or call it the marketing theory since that's really what it's based on. Here's my line of thought. Smash Brothers Ultimate DLC started with Joker from Persona 5 on launch night of the game back at the Game Awards 2018. This was big for a few reasons. They went with a big name that almost no one saw coming, well, no one except for maybe these two, and they weren't even guessing he would be included. They just wanted it so badly they willed it into existence, proving to people on launch night that Nintendo will be going crazy with these DLC choices, by going with not only a character no one expected, but also relevant at the Game Awards. Persona 5 was nominated for Game of the Year in 2017, only losing to Nintendo's own Breath of the Wild, but also did win Best RPG. So I do believe they may pull something like this again with DLC number 5, since it's like 99% likely number 5 will be announced at the upcoming Game Awards on December 12th. But first, let's also look into the marketing practices when it came to Hero, Banjo, and Terry. When you see people discuss about the dual reveal of Hero and Banjo at E3, I will claim it was a both sides pleasing marketing tactic, with Hero's reveal being more for the Japanese audience with how big Dragon Quest is in Japan, and then Banjo's reveal was for the Western audiences since he is one of the most requested characters in Western audiences. But then I believe it was just a pure lucky coincidence for Nintendo. How I believe it went down? Of course, with it being E3, they had to do a dual reveal to make all the headlines, but make them strategic ones. They chose Hero to be DLC number 2 due to Dragon Quest XI Echoes of an Elusive Age Definitive Edition S, I think that's how you say that name, coming soon to Nintendo Switch not too long after E3. It was the perfect time to reveal him. And while there is no new Banjo game coming out that we know of, Banjo was chosen as number 3 solely due to him being a highly requested character, and they wanted to reveal him when there would be the most eyeballs would see his announcement, that being E3. So that's how that order was chosen. Moving on to Terry, he's kind of the black sheep of this whole thing, but his announcement still fits the marketing pattern. With him obviously being the least known character of the 5, they chose him as number 4 because in between E3 and the Game Awards, there was no real proper place to make a big announcement for another DLC fighter except for maybe Tokyo Game Show. So they stuck the least known character of the Fighters Pass in a regular Nintendo Direct. And please don't take this as me dissing on Terry's inclusion. I'm excited for him. It's just I'm sure as soon as number 5 is revealed, we will all kind of agree that Terry is the least known character of the 5. And going back to number 5, they knew they'd be going full circle with the final reveal being back at the Game Awards, saving another somewhat big name character since there will most likely be a lot of eyes watching the Game Awards, but definitely not as many as E3, but most likely more than just a regular Nintendo Direct. So the popularity of this character is going to be somewhere in between Terry and Banjo, and yeah, I know that's pretty much every speculated character. That doesn't help dwindle it down. But now seeing their marketing strategy throughout the year with the other characters, we can make an educated guess on who qualifies as a reveal at the Game Awards, like how the past characters' announcements times match the character. Something in my gut is just telling me back in mid-2018 when Nintendo made the list of characters to give to Sakurai, they were looking at the big games that were coming out in 2019 and sought out a character who would most likely be from a 2019 Game of the Year contender. So going by that logic, some games that came out this year that also have a character that could appear in Smash. And I narrowed that down to Resident Evil 2 Remake, Kingdom Hearts 3, Devil May Cry 5, Mortal Kombat 11, and Doom Eternal. Now, hold up a minute, Moonlight, I'm hearing some of you saying. Doom Eternal doesn't even come out this year, now because of the delay, and Kingdom Hearts 3 has gotten a lot of poor reviews. Why would they be up for the Game of the Year award? Keep in mind, we have to be in the mindset of the Nintendo marketing team back in mid-2018. And back in mid-2018, Doom Eternal and Kingdom Hearts 3 were some of the most anticipated games of last year that also include characters that could be in Smash Bros. So Nintendo could have gone after Doomslayer or Sora in hopes that these games would be up for the Game of the Year award and be a great tie-in for the last DLC fighter. And if they did get that character, getting a last-minute delay like Doom Eternal did or poor reviews like Kingdom Hearts 3 did won't stop the character from coming. So Doomslayer and Sora are possible. The Resident Evil 2 remake was also pretty hyped up after its announcement at the previous E3, and with Nintendo's and Capcom's relationship getting stronger and stronger, with all those other ports of Resident Evil being planned back then, and they hoped the remake would be a big hit, they could have gone after Resident Evil Character 2 to tie in with the remake's nomination. My only gripe with this idea is that Resident Evil 2 stars Leon Kennedy and Claire Redfield, and if we were to get a Resident Evil character, I would suspect Chris Redfield or Jill Valentine. But who knows, they could throw us a curveball with Leon. I mean, Resident Evil 4 is one of the most popular in the series. Now, getting into some weaker tie-ins, Devil May Cry 5 may be nominated for Game of the Year award, but the fact the game is still not on Switch hurts that chance. Unless they also announce 5 is coming to the Switch alongside Dante's announcement. Or maybe they could even go even crazier and use Nero instead of Dante. I'm sure that would go well. And lastly, Mortal Kombat. While maybe not nominated for Game of the Year, as fighting games rarely ever break into that category, it could easily be in Best Fighting Game or Best Multiplayer, kind of like how Joker was in and won Best RPG. But as a couple of people pointed out to me in the last video, not only is Mortal Kombat not big in Japan, it's strictly outlawed there and a couple other countries. So yeah, that kind of kills off Sub-Zero's chance of a Japanese developer having interest in adding one of their characters if the game is banned in the country. There's also a lot of other games I could see being nominated for Game of the Year, but they all are games I don't see Sakurai going after their characters for. So in the end, it's down to Resident Evil, Sora, and Doomslayer for me, with Doomslayer being the most likely in my opinion. It matches up perfectly with how planning and marketing has gone on for this DLC, whether it be based on the announcement time frame, whether like Banjo and Terry, or a connected announcement with like Joker or Hero. At least it did until it got delayed. But honestly, that's not a big deal. Instead of saying you've been playing as Doomslayer in Doom Eternal, now play as him in Smash Bros., they can now say, before you rip and tear as the Doomslayer in Doom Eternal this March, you can play him earlier in Smash Bros. This February. It's an easy fix. Barely an inconvenience. It even kind of works given it's only a month away before the game releases, since most likely Doomslayer would release around late January, early February of 2020. At least it matches up closely to the release of the game on Xbox, PlayStation, and PC, Switch yet to be announced. Sora still works in some regard due to how anticipated Kingdom Hearts 3 was and how highly wanted Sora is in general for Smash, but what I think hurts Sora's chances and even Geno's chances is the fact we have Hero already, and I just don't see them double dipping in third-party companies in a single fighter's pass. And then when it comes to Resident Evil, he's like the dark horse. I mean, I could see it pulling through, but yeah, it's just, there are some things there, but not as much as Doomslayer. So honestly, the list for me goes Doomslayer, Resident Evil, Sora. And then there are some leaks going around about Ryu Hayabusa, but there has been nothing supportive of that, at least marketing-wise. There isn't a new Ninja Gaiden game coming out. He just appeared as a guest character in another game. So besides it just being completely random, Ryu Hayabusa just doesn't make any sense for me. All Ryu Hayabusa has going for him is the fact that he has some leaks talking about him. So, take what you will about that, but I just don't see them doing 4 planned characters, like 4 very strategically planned characters, and then just Ryu Hayabusa at the end. I just don't see that happening. They could. Sakurai's a madman. They could easily do that. But based on past not even strategies, just past how things worked, how they have worked in the past with Nintendo. Doomslayer just seems like the most obvious choice. Doomslayer just makes a lot of sense for all the reasons I just said. His marketing all coincides with the Game Awards, and when the 5th DLC character would have been announced, and the game's coming out on Switch. So who else has that much support for a character? But anyway, those are my thoughts. I know this video was kind of rushed a little bit. Sorry about that. I'm going on a week vacation here coming up, and I kind of wanted to get this video out before then. I was inspired to make it, and I wanted to get it out before I went on vacation. So by the time you see this video, I'll probably be on vacation. Be on a plane somewhere. But anyway, hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and if there's any other videos you would like or ideas about Smash Brothers you could want to see me talk about, leave them in the comments below, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Bye.